We invite you to stay tuned for the live broadcast of the Wednesday evening Bible study of the Mayfield Drive Baptist Church, located at 271 Mayfield Drive, Smyrna, Tennessee. We will now join the service.
Welcome back to the Mayfield Drive Baptist Church Wednesday, and we are studying church history through the Trail of Blood, and this is part number 7. In the last part, we considered the church located at Smyrna. We found that this church was a church that is represented by persecutions. When Jesus had John to write to this church, he informed them that they would have tribulations for 10 days. In our study of these scriptures, we saw that Jesus was referring to 10 different time periods. This is one reason why that we think that this church represented a certain time period, 100 through 320. We considered a few of these martyrs in the previous part, but before continuing on with our study from the Trail of Blood, I want to take a closer look at the persecution that arose from the beginning of the Church of Jerusalem through these time periods. And I look at 3 periods of persecutions. The first beginning with the stoning of Deacon Stephen. The second being during the Dark Ages. And the third being colonies being formed in the quote-unquote New World that later became known as the United States of America. This will be a look at the first period of persecution, while the other 2 will be considered at a later time. So for this part, I have consulted the following historical records. The Bloody Theater, or Martyrs' Mirror of the Defenseless Christians. Philemon J. van Brong, translated from the Dutch language by Joseph F. Sohm, illustrated by Jan Lukin. A History of the Baptist, John T. Christian. F. Baptist Success, illustrated by Jan. A Handbook of Baptist History by D.B. Wright. A History of a Concise History of Foreign Baptists by G.H. Baptist Success. A General History of the Baptist Denomination by David Benedict. A History of the Baptists by Thomas Armitage. Compendium of Baptist History by J.A. Shackelford. Fox's Book of Martyrs, John Fox. Motion's Church History. So beginning with the church at Jerusalem, some historians believe that the persecution began with the Roman Empire, while others believe that it actually started with the Jews, with the members of the Church of Jerusalem. Still others believe that persecution started with the death of John the Baptist. It actually started regardless. This first period with the members of the Church of Jerusalem started by the Jews and then continued by the Roman Empire. It continued until the time of Constantine in 313 A.D. We'll look at some of them. John the Baptist, son of Zacharias and Elizabeth, beheaded in the castle of Machaerus at the command of Herod and Antipas in A.D. 32. Stephen, one of the 7 deacons of the Church of Jerusalem, stoned without the gate of the city by the libertines in A.D. 34, shortly after the death of Christ. James, the son of Zebedee, put to death with the sword by Herod Agrippa in Jerusalem, A.D. 45. He was the brother of John, and the first apostle martyred. Philip, bound with his head to a pillar, and stoned in Phrygia, A.D. 54. James, the son of Alphaeus, or brother of the Lord, cast down from the temple, stoned, and then beaten to death with a club in A.D. 63. He was reportedly the pastor of the Church of Jerusalem at the time, and the one who is said to have knees like as that of a camel, because he was on them so often in prayer. He was supposedly 96 years old at his death. He was also the one who wrote the book of James. Barnabas, companion of the Apostle Paul,